Hello everyone. So this is our Cucumber tutorial session 5. So in this tutorial I'll be discussing about the Cucumber hooks and the why we need it in the Cucumber and the types of hooks like before, after and tag. Okay. So first let me take you to my clips and let's see an example. Okay. So this is the sample feature file I've written. Okay. So this feature file, the scenario is a single user registration process, and what I'm doing actually, given a valid set of data and access, then when the registration page is displaying, then I'm providing the valid data, and then after I'm clicking the submit button, then I'm clicking the sign up button and the close. So let me take you to the glue code that I've written. Okay, so this is the glue code for my feature file. You can see that, yeah. So for each and every step, corresponding glue code I've written. Okay, and when registration page is display, so when registration page is displaying, and then I enter the valid data, then I enter the valid data. I'm passing the data one by one in the step table here. Then I'm clicking the submit button, then click on the submit, then click on sign up and then close. Okay, so this is the scenario and the feature I've written without the hooks. So let me run it first. Demo.feature. Okay. It's taking some time. Let's wait for a while. Well, the page is getting loaded, and go to the register button, providing username, password, conversion, submit, and it's successful. Okay, then browser got closed. Okay, so this is the scenario that I've written without hooks. Now I'm going to implement the scenario using the hooks. So first of all, I would like to say, why we need it. Why we need the hooks. Okay, so hooks, Cucumber hooks that basically allow us to better manage the code workflow. Okay, it helps us to reduce the code redundancy. So, so if you see that, in my glue code, what I mentioned in the given are a valid set of data and access. In that step I have mentioned the instantiate the Firefox driver. Okay, and in the next step, when the registration page is displaying, here I'm passing the URL in the step itself. Okay, so it's redirecting me to the registration page of that URL. Okay, so whatever the URL, whatever the test environment I need to set up, I'm passing this inside the step itself. Okay, but what if we have several scenarios inside a single feature file, and we need to instantiate different driver like Chrome driver, Firefox driver, AI driver. Then what are we gonna do? Do we have to instantiate separate driver in separate step itself? And this is not a good process at all. In that case we will be using hooks. So whatever the test environment setup we will do, we will be doing in a separate tag that we call in the Cucumber as a hooks. So in Cucumber, we have three types of hooks that we will maintain. So one is before, another one is after, and last one is tagged. Okay. So let me implement my step difference classes using before. See, yep. For that before, I need to import that Cucumber API Java. Okay. Okay. Now in that before material, I will instance the driver of the Firefox. Okay. One more thing I forgot. I need to take the instance of the scenario class variable also here also that will pass in the test setup method as argument. I need to import the scenario class, the Cucumber API. Okay. So this scenario class will help us to print the scenario at the console, and as well as we can whatever the scenario you are going to we are executing, that will get printed at the report sections. Okay, that will cover later. uh, okay, so uh, driver, first of all I need to write this way, this dot scenario test setup into like, okay, so make it like that. Okay, one more thing I'm skipping. Yeah, which scenario I'm executing, I can pass it as a this way. It will fetch the scenario name dot scenario dot get name. Okay, so the scenario I'll be passing for single user registration process, that will get printed at the console. Okay, and yeah, you can also provide the implicit timeout here also. Sorry, uh, to providing as a 5 second timeout. Okay, um, so I've written my before hooks and for my feature file and the scenario, and in that case we don't have to instance in a driver class here, so deleting that portions. Same as well as we will be defining after tear down scenario. Okay, let me copy this one. For after we need to import the class, the same Cucumber API Java class we need to import. Or successfully import both the classes of the Cucumber page after and before. And for this text screenshot, we also need to import that selenium text screenshot class. Output types, let me import for output type class. So see, what I've basically done in the before method, I'm instantiating the driver of Firefox driver, and after instantiating the Firefox driver, I'm providing the implicit timeout as a 5 second, and printing the scenario, whatever the scenario I want to, whatever the scenario I'm executing currently. So that will get printed along with the scenario name, and all kind of test environment setup activity will be done at the before, at the red before tag. Okay, and let's see the after tag. So in the tag, what I'm doing, I mean, this tag after tag will get executed after the last tag, of the my scenario. Okay, so then I click sign off and close. So after the and close, this step got executed, and then at the end that after tag will get executed. Okay, so in that case we are passing the scenario, class variable that I've instantiated before in the class, and we're writing as a scenario to write finish scenario. So the scenario has been passed successfully, failed, whatever it is, that it will get executed at the end of the scenario. And if scenario is failed, then you will embed the screenshot. So I have taken the take screenshot class of the Selenium. Then you will take the screenshot and store as a PNG image in my report file. Okay. So basically, I mean this way, like embedded 0, 1, 2. So if my feature, if my scenario failed, there is some network issue, yes, some application issue, so it will capture the relevant pages screenshot and it will store it. Okay. So after it following, it will print the test environment destroyed, and then it will close the driver and it then quit. Okay. So I have mentioned here two tags, before and after. For that two tags, let me run it first and let's see what's gonna happen. So that was my previous result, that I passed without using any hooks. Now I'm running this one, demoted feature again. Let's see. It's taking some time to load. Okay, so it's loaded my URL. Navigating the register page, providing username, password, and confirm password. Clicking on submit, then clicking on sign up, and then closing the browser. Okay. Okay. One issue I found. Let me see. What is the issue? Selenium remote session not found. Access the Firefox server cannot be used after quit was called. Okay. Let me have a look on it. I mean, whatever the issue happened. Click on sign up. Registrations. Finish your registration destroyed. Okay. Okay. I got it. I got it. Actually, in the and close, I have already closed the driver. Yeah. Then close. In the step itself, I have already closed the driver. If driver not equal to null, then test number destroyed. With tag number registration, driver is closed and driver quit. So we don't have to do, I mean, if you already putting the driver in that step itself, then after that step got executed, then it will try to execute the after method, okay, the tear down method. Then it's not finding the driver because it's already been coded. Okay. So let me just delete this one. Just cut it. I will do one thing here, like system simply will read as a, sorry, my keys got getting hanged. Closing the browser. Okay, now I guess now it's okay. So now after the then close and close, this step will get executed. Now it will at the end it will execute my after tag annotations. Okay, just one last script. This will be not then and. Okay, now let me import and cucumber API. Sorry for the noise. So let me run this again. Let's see the result. page is getting loaded. Okay, providing the data, clicking on submit, and then clicking on sign up button, closing the browser. So well, we can see here that for this demo feature file, yeah, for the demo feature file, it executed successfully and all the step got passed, the scenario got passed. So it printed, yeah, the test terminal first setup, then it's printed executing scenario to whatever the, let me show you first. Yeah, sorry. So it will print the executing scenario single user registration process. The scenario.get name, this will printing the scenario name, and then it's doing going through the all the steps that I mentioned, the step in the scenario itself, and at that number at the end it's printing the last step and close. So it is closing the browser, and then it's doing the up the tear down operations. Sorry, yeah, the tear down operations. The browser instance got closed, and then it got quit, and it's printing test environment destroyed. Okay. So what is the difference we have found using the before and after tag? For that, have we implemented any step here? Any step that we need to mention here? No, right? So Cucumber hooks basically allow us to better manage the code workflow here. Okay. So it also allow us to reduce the code redundancy. We can say that is basically the unseen step that we don't have to mention here in the scenario or don't have to write in the feature file. It's basically the unseen step that whatever the test environment creation, yeah, connecting to the test environment, connect to the database, whatever the test environment creations, all that kind of code will be implemented inside the v4 tag. And after the test environment, after the whole process has been done, scenario has been executed successfully, so we'll tear down the scenario, disconnecting from database, yeah, killing the browser instances, all that kind of operation will be taken care in the at that after method. Okay. So what we have done is in the before and after tag. So can't we achieve the same using another way? Yes, we do have another options, like if you include in the background like in the given syntax, we can achieve in the same way. Okay. But one drawback is there. Let me show you. Like in the given statement, if I mention it this way, like given I have a valid set of data and access, and instant setting the sorry, the driver and parsing the application URL, then application should be displayed. Uh, so see, I have been, mentioned another three steps here in the background itself. Like given a valid set of data and instances in the driver pass URL, and then the application should be displayed. Okay. So what the background tag basically do? So it's we can take it as a scenario that will be executed uh, before the other scenario. Okay. So whatever the step we will mention the background tag, this will get executed before the scenario. Okay. So for a good practice, we shouldn't use so much steps and words in the given syntax or in the background. We should keep it simple, like just I have been given valid set of. And another thing is that if you have a multiple feature file, so the background syntax if you use, it will only works for this feature file, like registration in market flight site. Okay, but if you have several feature files, so you need to mention different background, right? So then there is no point of using the background and creating the implementing the same background code for different features. So rather we will use only single before and after hooks, and we will mention all the details of the feature file in that hooks itself. So we don't have to create take different background for different feature file. That's another point. So we won't be using the background options. Okay. And one more thing, like if you use the background and the before together, so it will always the before will get the topmost priority. So anytime if you have some background and the before and after hooks there, so before hooks will get executed earlier first, and then it will come to the background, then it will go to your scenario, and after the scenario executed successfully, then it will pass your after hook method. Okay, so let me show you another example where we will be using the tagged hooks. Okay. Okay. So let's see. I mean, tagged hooks. As of now, we have discussed that there's two kind of hooks, like before and after hooks that I mentioned. So what is tagged hooks? Suppose my feature file contains a different scenario. So for the first scenario of content written like single regular registration process for admin, I'm mentioning as this is a admin, and the same process I need to be carried out for my user registrations, a normal user. Okay, this is not the admin user. So I mark it as the user tag. So what I'm doing basically the same thing. The registration page is getting displayed. I'm entering the valid data. The username is user, password is test857. Whereas for admin, the username I'm passing it as admin. Then I'm clicking on submit, clicking on sign off. And for admin, I'm closing the browser. Here I'm just clicking on sign off, and the browser closing will be taken care by the after teardown method. Okay. So in case if your feature file contains several scenario, now you want to pass, yeah, you want to execute only one scenario, like for admin scenario you want to execute not the user scenario. So how you can achieve that? Okay, so for that case the tagged hooks comes into the picture. So let me show you. uh, the two tags I mentioned, one is admin and another is user. So how can we pass only one tag, like I want to pass on to execute the user scenario, user tag scenario only. So first of all, let me go to my step definition classes. Okay, this and delete. Okay. So if you use a tagged hooks, we need to mention the hooks in the after and before annotations. Let me okay. So at the rate after. Okay. Sorry. At the rate user. Okay. So if you mention only the one tag here, like so the one tag like at that user tag I mentioned, so it will only consider the user scenario only. That scenario, single user registration process for user. So after method will only be considering the user. Same way, if you take it for a before method, the before method will consider only the particular tagged scenario. Okay. So I'm considering here the both. Yeah. Okay. And for before method, yeah. For before method, I already have written this. See, user, admin, and both the tag has been mentioned. Okay. Another thing I forgot to mention that in my uh, in my earlier example, I was using the Firefox browser. Now I'm using the Chrome browser. Okay, so just I have told you before, like if you use the background and if you have a complicated setup, test environment creations, that all you need to mention in the background keywords. Okay, so I told that I mean we don't have to do all kind of hard else a complicated step in the background, rather keep it simple, and all this step need to be mentioned before tag. See, for this case I am taking the Chrome browser and I'm setting as a property of Chrome driver where the Chrome driver has been located. Then setting up the Chrome options are added arguments like start, maximize, disable web security in your proxy server, and then I put the preference of the Chrome browser that we'll be using in our in our executions. So the credential enabled service should be false, profile password management service enabled. So all these kind of things should be I've checked, and then I've created the suitable Chrome environment. Then I'm passing the URL here, and it will open as a maximize window, and implicit timeout I've given as a 5 second. Okay. So it's nothing but in the first example I was showing for the Firefox driver. In the second example I was showing for the Chrome driver. Okay. The main thing is that the hooks I have used at the admin tag, at the user tag. And I want to check. only my desired tag should get executed. Okay, so I have already mentioned in the after tag and the before tag, both the tag I have mentioned. So the before scenario will get executed for both two tags, and after scenario will get executed for both two tags. Okay, so let me take you to the runner. Okay, this is the Cucumber runner of the feature file demo.feature. So the various aspects of the Cucumber runner file I will cover in the next sections. But if you look into it, you can see that there are options like tags. Okay, so in the tags option, I mentioned the two tags, the admin and the user. Okay, if you mention both the tags and if you try to execute the test runner class of the Cucumbers, that you will run the demo.feature file. Okay, it will have the demo.feature file. So let me run fast and let's see what is the result. This Cucumber runner is implemented with the JUnit, so it's a JUnit test basically. So both the tag I mentioned. Let me see. So under the feature file, you can see that the two scenarios getting displayed. One is user registration for admin and user registration for user. Okay, so it's opening the Chrome environment, doing the operations, and for user. Okay. Okay, so there is total two scenario along with total 11 steps are mentioned. All that is in passed successfully. Okay. Uh, okay. So we can see that in that under the feature file, registration in the market file side, single user registration for admin and single registration for user. Both that scenario got executed successfully. Okay. Of course, I mentioned the both the tags, admin and user tag. But if you want to consider only one scenario to be executed, then how we can do it, right? So let me mention it this way. Like you can also mention it this way. Like if you only mention the admin tag, so it will also consider the admin tag. And if you put this options here, I mean, okay. So I have given this option. So if you given these options, it will only consider it won't consider the admin tag. Okay. So if you want to exclude any scenario, so you can do it two. I mean, two ways. Either you don't have to mention the tags itself, or if you put the tag, mention the caret symbol here. So it will. I mean, skip that tag. Okay. So in that case, only the user tag should get executed. Let me run it and see the result. So it's creating the Firefox browser instances and providing the URL. Clicking on the register button. Okay. Going on data, submit, and getting signed up. Okay. So if you see the result in the Cucumber runner, under my feature file, the scenario that I am only executing currently, single user registration for user only. Okay, that I mentioned user, and admin should not get executed. That I mentioned with this tag, with this prefix annotation. So in this way, so we can utilize the tag hooks feature. Like suppose you are having multiple, I mean one feature file along with the multiple scenario. So if you want to execute only particular scenario like two and three scenario, and rest of the scenario should not get executed, you can utilize the tag hook functionality. Okay. So let me summarize it. So now you are aware of the how what is the Cucumber hooks and why we need it to simplify the process of the code redundancy, and this is the unseen step that we need to mention in the Cucumber, and it will help us to manage our code easily. Okay. And type of hooks that I've discussed before, tag, after hooks, and tagged hooks. And another way, you can also omit the before hooks by utilizing the background feature of the Cucumber, but we shouldn't use it. Why? I told you that background will be applicable for only single feature file, but if you have multiple feature file, then it's better to go for the before hooks. Okay, it will consider all the feature file if you include in that background hooks, if you mention that tag in the before hooks. Okay, so that's it for today for cucumber hooks. If you have any questions, then let me know. Thank you for watching.